I got laid off from the last company I was working in. I think that just motivated me to jump all in. And I did my first job March of 2024.
What was the first step you took when you decided you wanted to get into business?
I spoke with a really good friend of mine, and he said, man, you can have all of my homes, you can do all of my garage doors.
They don't have to know it's just you and a technician. And you overwhelm them with proof that you are the guy for the job. You don't leave it to chance.
I was willing to spend whatever time and money it took just to launch and get it going.
Well, it comes down to what is your competitive advantage right now?
This is what you need to build in the next 12 months to be able to actually put your company on steroids.
So if you're going to try to scale, it all depends on where you want to take the company.
You don't have tracking. Come on.
Yeah, I don't.
You're not competitive.
It's time to legitimize the business. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems.
And it has to do with me being a bad salesman too.
When you say you're a bad salesman though, like unpack that. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, I can tell you the truth.
Welcome back to the Matchbox podcast, everybody. My name's David.
And I'm Vlad, and today we have something special for you guys. Many people have been asking, and we're starting a new series called Matchbox Scale. And on Matchbox Scale, we're going to be inviting young entrepreneurs, young businesses, small companies, talk about their struggles, talk about their success, talk about interesting things that are happening, and help them scale, brainstorm on ideas how to improve their company, improve their operations, marketing, and so on. So tune in. Hope you're gonna like this.
Don't forget to like, subscribe if you get value from this podcast. Today, our guest, we have Paul Long, who is the founder of Dialed Garage Services, and
Alex Antonov, who is the CEO of Homesy. Homesy is a customer-oriented remodel service, right?
Yeah, we're a home improvement company that specializes in remodeling.
Yeah. Okay. Well, welcome, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Paul, nice to see you. You look great.
Praise God.
Thanks, Alex, for joining. So
let's jump in, guys.
Okay, I'll start from my early 20s. I have about 12 years of construction experience. Then I switched to more of a digital marketing. I worked for a couple of digital marketing companies for about over 12 years, I would say. And that stopped. I got laid off from the last company I was working in the beginning of April this year.
They booted you.
Yes, they did.
What kind of construction was it exactly?
I was doing some stucco framing, architectural sheet metal. I've done that for quite a while, so that's kind of my background. But I've done a lot of I've been on many different job sites, and garage doors always fascinated me.
Really?
Like I was
How they open and close?
I don't know. Yeah, a lot of people ask me, and I remember I framed a shop for this one guy, and he actually owned a garage door business. That was about 12 years ago. Since then, I always thought about garage doors. And about a year and a half ago, that's when it happened. I opened the company.
So what was the first garage door you ever installed?
It was a small door, 8x8, at my friend's shop, and I installed it myself. It took me a while. It took me over 12 hours to install it, and yeah.
Well, you were learning. So
yes.
Just quickly, briefly, where's the business now? How long ago you opened it? And what type of revenue are you expecting this year?
Well, I launched my LLC December of 2023. Okay. That's when I sat down, came up with a name, launched the website, went to Labor Industries and all the other places, legalized everything, got insurance, and I did my first job March of 2024. I'm hoping to hit 7 figures this year.
Okay.
So, and I'm on track so far, praise God.
So I'm with Homesy. We're a home improvement company. In 23, we did 2.3 million revenue. And 24, we ended at 4.2. And in 25, we're pacing for a little over 10. And we specialize in roofing, siding, paint, and flooring replacement.
No garage doors.
No garage doors.
Okay.
No.
Oh,
You guys are a perfect match.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not competitive.
yeah, like I mentioned that I always thought about garage doors, but place where we live at, we had a new garage door installed, I would say about exactly a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And it kind of reignited my passion. I was like, man, I forgot about that. I always thought about that, you know? And certain things were happening at my 9-to-5 job that I didn't appreciate. I thought, I wasn't getting anywhere. That's when I
No
really
growth.
yeah, no growth. You know, I was stagnant there. I tried new things, but it just I wasn't really heading where I wanted to be. I wasn't progressing as fast as I wanted to. I think that just motivated me to jump all in. And that's when it's like I was willing to spend whatever time and money it took just to launch and get it going. Just I wasn't even considering to be backing out. I was like, I'm gonna give it my 100% and more. I'll just work harder than the other garage door companies and other guys, and I'll just make it work, whatever it takes. If I have to work until 3 a.m., if I have to do a job just to break even or lose money, I'm still gonna be out there making it work, being present there, and that's how I started.
So when you started, did you actually know how to install, or you had an idea?
Yeah, I had an idea since I've been in construction for a while. Prior to marketing job, I've done a couple of doors even myself, or not on my own, but helping someone. So I had an idea, but just as far as labor goes, but I didn't have an idea how to run a business all the way. So.
And it seems like it didn't start off as a side hustle. You just went all in right from the get-go.
It was since I had my full-time job and I had the flexibility to kind of come and go whenever, as long as I'm fulfilling my tasks. So that kind of gave me opportunity, to build things how I wanted to, while having the income.
And so you were still working your full-time job. You had this flexibility. You started this business of installing garage doors. What was the first step you took when you decided you wanted to get into business? Did you go and open up an LLC? Did you go and do a job for a friend? Did you go and talk to somebody? What was literally the first 2 or 3 steps you took to get this off the ground?
So when I launched the company, I have a lot of builder friends, and I saw how much money is being just channeled through them and how much they're making. And my thought was, man, there's so much money flowing. I just want to channel some of that money my way. For some reason, that's how it clicked in my brain. I was like, I just want to take that and just some of it has to go my way. And one of the things I could provide is garage door. The challenge, I think it took me about 5 months to find a garage door supplier. If you guys are gonna try to start a garage door business, one thing you're gonna run into, where do I get the materials? You're gonna have to drill so hard to find the supplier. And even after you do, how do I get the good prices on garage doors? But before I even opened my LLC, I spoke with a really good friend of mine. We've been friends for many years. He builds, about 20, 30, 40 homes a year. I asked him, hey, I'm thinking of launching this business. Would you be open letting me do all your garage doors? And he said, man, you can have all of my homes. You can do all of my garage doors.
Oh.
And I just did the math. I was like, man, if I'm going to do, let's say, because it was about 50 doors, if I'm going to do all of his doors, I'm actually going to make this much money. So this is how much money I can spend.
What's the average garage door?
For
a house. So
For a spec home, I imagine, if he's doing...
Yeah, if you're talking about...
Spec home or more for sale?
It depends. Yeah, if it's a spec home, it's about, 3.5K. If you're doing something custom, it would be 8, 10, 12. So it really depends, yeah. So I did all the math, and I was like, man, this is how much money I'm going to make. So I took that exact amount of money and just bought all the equipment and everything because I knew I'm going to make it back.
And what equipment did you need to start this?
You need funny thing, I bought a van because I thought I'm going to be a service-based business too. And that van was so small. It was a Ford Connect. It was long wheelbase, but I installed a ladder rack and then I realized it's going to be too short. So I had to I was selling that van for a year, and I went to a friend of mine and actually bought a truck from him, from his dealership. I set up a whole new setup. So you need a ladder rack. It has to be pretty robust. It has to hold at least 2,000 pounds. Bunch of specialty tools. It's a lot to explain, but
Well, anyway, there's a barrier of entry, right?
Exactly.
It's not free to get into this business.
Yes.
So equipment, how much is that? How much does that cost?
I think I got everything set up for 15K.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Including truck, welding a custom ladder rack, all the little tools.
So if I get into garage doors, all I need is 15K.
You can even get away with less.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a supplier.
Yes.
And a customer.
And a customer, yeah.
That's kind of the essential.
Yes.
You have a skill, you have the tools, and you have leads.
Yes.
you have a customer.
Well, I think also him having that relationship that gave him that commitment for a certain amount of business is what gave him the confidence to go and invest that money.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to the relationship that you had with this person prior to, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you guys still working together? Are they still
Yep.
doing business? Yeah.
Yep.
Do you want to give him a shout out?
Yeah, I guess it's Revan Homes. Mike, he built a couple of subdivisions. So
Good job, Mike, for trusting Paul.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm dialed.
And so when you started, that was 100% of your leads, right? That was
yes,
your business.
exactly. Yeah.
And then how's that changed until now?
Then I was so heavy. I went on Google Business. I went on Google and I looked at every single custom home builder. I made some business cards. I called every single number. I introduced myself. I would say my conversion was like 30%, which is crazy.
30%
Yeah.
pick up the phone or
No, people who picked up the phone, they actually end up working with me.
oh wow.
If they didn't answer or they kind of were on the fence, I would buy, what's the crumble cookies, I think? I would buy a whole box.
So you'd poison them.
Yes.
You're a bad person.
I had to do
So
it.
if I don't work with you, you're gonna poison me with
Yes.
crumble.
Yeah, you're going to be loaded with
Okay.
crumble cookies. And I just would drop it off at their office and introduce myself, and that helped convert stuff too. So I was super, because I didn't have a lot going on. I didn't have a lot of quotes to give out, didn't have a lot of leads to process. I just jumped on builders because to me it was you make one connection that produces continuous workflow. So job after job, it's not one off. So that's why I focused on that. Then immediately I launched my Google business page. And when random leads start coming in from there, Google business page, Thumbtack, and Angel Leads, Home Advisor, same thing. I just started driving to people's homes. Sometimes I would even do a free service call just to get a Google business page review. And that started growing, and that's when I realized the price tag is way different. Homeowners willing to pay way more because they just don't have access to, they don't shop around as much. They have a couple, like some other garage door companies who will charge them triple than what I would. So I was immediately, what do you call that?
You just
Yeah.
you got all the business.
Yeah. They're like,
You're
yes.
the most competitive.
Yes. And then,
There's no competition basically. With working with retail.
But also I would say a bigger factor is that you have a builder who's trying to cut cost.
yeah.
He's trying to get a door that's going to be acceptable, just good enough, versus a retail customer who wants something that's investment grade. They want something that's actually going to last, something that will change the look of their home.
So
And-
they're willing to pay premium.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's the same with our business as well. We call it builder grade versus
And you make
investment
more
grade.
margin on a higher quality product.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's much better than selling the cheapest of the cheapest.
Yes.
More of a premium, you have better, bigger ticket, than the bigger margin.
So at this point, when you had like public facing profiles online, you had your Yelp, your Google profile, Thumbtack, you started going to homeowners because they were paying more than the builders. Correct?
Absolutely.
And then what kind of jobs were you doing for the homeowners? Were you replacing doors? Were you repairing them? What did that look like for you?
I actually want to share one of the first jobs I did where I did something for a homeowner. It was a referral by a friend of mine who does finished carpentry. So it was some police officer who lives in Salmon Creek area somewhere. His door wasn't all the way open, and he drove his Tesla out and completely knocked out two bottom sections. It's a very common thing. So I showed up, gave him the estimate, and he also mentioned, hey, I have these ceiling mounted openers. We hate them. We built a house during COVID. It was very limited, in supplies. So we bought them at Home Depot. If you don't like them, they're all over the place. I was like, can you upgrade it to side mounted ones? And that was my first. And it's crazy, how much money was there to be made. Just coming into his house, and he's saying, hey, I don't like this, I don't like that, I'm willing to pay for that. It was one of the first Google reviews that he left. He was super happy about it. So that's when I realized, man, homeowners is where it's at. How do I get them? That's when I signed up with the Angel Leads, Thumbtack. When I start focusing on Google business page, because I knew I need to get my company out there. And back then I had another thing that surprised me. He's like, I asked him, how are you gonna do the payment, and he's like, are you gonna do credit card, check, or cash? I was like, credit card. I was like, well, I need 50% down. He had no problem giving me his credit card. And back then I had little magnet stickers on my truck, that says, and I realized, like, because my buddy's like, man, it kind of looks legit. That's when I decided to wrap my truck, get T-shirts. When you walk into a customer's house, they have no problem handing me their credit card for deposit. I showed up, they never seen me. They're willing to give me a deposit, and
Because it's safe.
yeah, and sometimes they wait for 6 weeks because that's how long it takes sometimes to get a replacement section, and that surprised me too. I was like, every little bit in piece, comes together. They see this, they see that, your website, Google business page, your truck, and they feel okay, giving you their money.
Well, it comes down to trust,
Yeah,
right? So they see your reviews, they see that you're a legitimate business, it's branded, you're a serious guy, and they're willing to do business with you. And then once you ask, simply just asking, it's amazing how much people just say yes, and you'll be surprised by it.
Asking for business,
Asking for the business, asking for the deposit.
but he's already there for the business.
Yeah. So, well, he was surprised by the fact that people are just going to say, hey, yeah, 50%, and I'll wait 6 weeks. So that's pretty incredible. What percentage of the business would you say right now is retail versus builders?
this month it was probably like actually 40 builders, 60 homeowners.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this was first time. So yeah, I'm excited.
And
about
where do the customers coming from?
Man, it's yard signs is major, and this one, I have a company. They made 6 different landing pages for Portland, Vancouver, Richfield, Kamloops, and a Battleground. So people find me on those landing pages and they call me, which is amazing.
It's Google or Facebook.
I've tried doing Facebook and Instagram. Not too excited about those leads. Those people are shopping around. Their intent of buying something is very low. They just saw something online and they just keep asking you different questions, different colors, finishes, and models, and just wears you out. Conversion is very low.
Yeah. Or I assume that you would pay way less for those type of leads, right?
Yeah,
Than Google.
But it sounds like you're not paying for them at all. They're just coming through your funnel, right?
Yes.
Searching for you, right?
Yeah, I'm paying fixed amount per month for the optimization of SEO on those landing pages, and I don't pay per lead, which makes sense to me.
Do you have one Google profile or do you have many for the different localities?
I just have one.
Just one.
Yeah.
Nice.
But you work in Portland and Vancouver.
Yes.
Okay. So you as I'm hearing it, you would prefer to have retail customers or just kind of like homeowners?
I mean, I wouldn't
more
say
than
that.
builders?
I wouldn't say that. So obviously margins are way slimmer with the builders, but that because of the volume I was able to move, I was able to drop my rates. If I only worked with the homeowners, I'm not one of those people who say I'm never going to work with the builder because
No,
it's
I'm
too
not
cheap.
saying that.
Yeah, but I'm definitely excited because I'm able to move so much volume and give myself very good rates on materials. So when I come to a homeowner, my margins are even fatter that way. So, and that's, yeah, that's where the kind of your profits are actually growing and increasing.
So what's your margin with the consumer?
With the homeowner, I would say I'm somewhere between 60 to 100.
60 to 100?
Yes, percent. And I know that local garage door companies, their margins can be close to 300.
Why do you think theirs is so much higher than yours?
That's what I'm always thinking. Why are people paying so much? I think it's the brand that's been around for 20 years. It's local. Yeah, they're saturated the local market so heavily that anywhere you go, you see them. Like you go on Google, and a lot of times I come out to homeowners, I usually hear their names like, oh yeah, this company came out and gave me a bid. Like I hear their names so often. So yeah.
So maybe they have really good salespeople. Have you thought about that?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's not really how old you are, how many reviews you have. Obviously, that really helps the conversion, but I think it's skilled, very good salespeople that are able to sell the product and the service to the homeowner.
I think you're absolutely right.
Okay.
When their pricing is that high, it makes them a very easy target from a marketing perspective for you to create posts or even do paid search where you will come up above them on Google when they're looking for their business. And you can set the narrative to whatever you want. Just be like, 1/3 of the price of XYZ company, and it could start a little bit of a war, but you're already, 1/3 of their price, right? So it's probably definitely something you're going to win. Do you have like a team of people that you work with, or is it just yourself right now?
I have one full-time installer.
One full time?
Yes.
So this other company, I'm imagining they probably have office space and warehouse space and a fleet of trucks, and they have
Your marketing.
marketing team and,
Sales team.
sales team and all that. So they have a lot of bloat, a lot of overhead. So that's probably why they're charging 3 times as much. So you're just very lean and mean, and you can just outmaneuver them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's very true also. But at the same time, when you come in and you try to bid really low or give really low pricing, you have to kind of think long term. You're gonna ruin the market for yourself too. So, because in about, I would say 3, 4, or 5 years, if I position myself right, that's what I'm trying to figure out. What things I need to focus on. Like I remember I spoke with you a couple months back. It's like, hey, we were able to kind of took a shortcut, like because we invest a certain amount of money, we were able to grow in 1 year like some other company would grow in 3 years. So that's why I'm curious, what is it that I need to do if I invest in this specific thing? What's going to help me to grow faster? Because dropping your price and training your customer to pay for a low price can only take you so far. So, because then you're gonna have so many leads, you won't be able to handle them.
So what's your number one bottleneck?
I would say I need more leads. Yeah,
Okay.
Do you buy leads at all right now, or are you just relying on your own marketing?
I do buy a little bit of leads. Like I said, I'm doing the landing pages in 5 different areas, and then I'm doing some leads from Home Advisor and Thumbtack, but those are very bad quality leads. But when I'm slow, I just take them, I turn it back on and just process them, because it gives me opportunity to drive around, introduce myself, something converts. So
What about Facebook groups? Like guerrilla marketing, take what you were doing in like face to face, but you just did it like in a digital location, like Facebook groups.
I heard about Facebook groups, never was really excited about that for whatever reason.
Have you ever tried it?
No, I haven't.
So I live in Happy Valley, for example, and my wife is a part of this group, Happy Valley Moms. There's like 20,000 people in it or something crazy. And when you scroll through, you see this person, like I need a person to dog sit, for the weekend, or I'm looking for a place to cut my hair, or does anybody have a recommendation on landscape services? And like they're using each other to kind of like crowdsource who they should use for services. And so you should get your wife to go and join all of these different groups. There's a Gresham Moms, there's a Happy Valley, there's a Vancouver. Join all of them and just be like, this is my husband, this is what he does. And you'll get leads. And because you're so small, that like you can do that, you can pull that off, but the bigger company you're competing with, they can't. They're not a family business anymore. They already have a
you
team
have to
of
use your strengths while you're a small business. Use your strength to you for now, because in 3, 4, 5 years you can't really do that.
Yeah. Well, it comes down to what is your competitive advantage right now, right? So your competitive advantage is that you as the owner can go talk to your customer, and you're going to be able to establish more trust than if just typically a sales guy shows up from a big, large company, because they're going to have to work harder to establish that trust. You also have the ability to get to them faster, because you are maybe not as busy as those large companies, depending on the lead times.
Yeah, your schedule is not.
Yeah. And you can make the
3 weeks.
argument, I'm going to give you the same brand of door, I'm going to give the same level of service, arguably better, for a lower price, significant lower. And if they've had other bids, it's going to be self-evident that you are cheaper. But as you mentioned, that can only take you so far. So it all depends on where you want to take the company. So if you're going to try to scale,
I think the goal to hit 10 million in 2, 3 years, he needs to build 2 things. You need a marketing team that will be generating your own leads, because buying is good in the beginning, but then if you scale, you need to be able to generate your own leads. And second, you need salespeople that will be able to work those leads and turn them into actual appointments. This is what you need to build in the next 12 months to be able to actually put your company on steroids, is marketing and sales. And then technicians, I think that's the easy part, because you can train them. That's the easier part. Supply, no problem on your scale.
yeah. So when you're saying, when you buy leads on Home Advisor, when you're saying they're low quality, what about is it low quality for you? Is it converting less? Is it less interest? Are the clients not qualified? What issues are you seeing?
Or are they selling it to 5 other companies and you're just trying to catch me at the right time, and they're like, oh, I already got that taken care of?
Sometimes I call the homeowner and they tell me, why you guys keep calling me? I thought I'm going to get a quote over email. It's like, stop calling me. So that tells me, and I called him legit like a minute later. So I can only imagine how many calls, he received before I called him.
How many leads would you say that you purchase on a daily, monthly, weekly basis?
Oh man, I didn't do that math too well, but I would say about 40 leads.
And out of those 40, how many people can you actually talk to and set up an appointment?
I would say maybe half of them will actually respond. 60% of them will actually set up an appointment. I'll come out. But a lot of times it's something really small. You can't really make money off of that.
Are you qualifying them when you're talking to them of the scope of what they want done? Is it just a repair? Is it service? Or do they want new garage doors?
Yes, I try to ask them if it's a new garage door repair. Normally they say garage door is not going up or down well. So, and I'm just trying to get my foot in the garage. That's it. I'm not trying to give them too much information either. I want them to be interested for me to come in.
Do you charge them a service fee?
Yes, I do. It's usually $120
Okay.
just to come out. If I come out and do something, I tell them it'll be $120. If it's going to use some parts, it's going to be more, and we can tell you on the spot. And I always try to convert that visit into a Google review.
So going out and doing a service or doing a repair, does it still make business sense for you to do that? Are enough of those leads converting into a sale of something that's a larger ticket?
Honestly, it doesn't. That's why I'm kind of going easy on that. I signed up with another company. It's called eLocal, and those leads are unique to my company.
Okay.
But they started from $40 a lead to now they want $140,
Wow.
which is insane because Home Advisor charges $60. But then you're thinking, if I'm willing to pay double just to get the unique lead.
I mean, it depends on the ratios and the conversions. So out of those 40, you're going to go see 60%. So let's say 25 people. Out of those 25 people, how many of them will buy a garage door system from you?
Maybe 3.
On average, 3.
Yeah.
So-
And it has to do with me being a bad salesman too.
Okay. So you're about 10%, right? So 10% close.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
truth comes
you
out.
say?
When
Yeah.
you say you're a bad salesman, though, like, unpack that. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, I can tell you the truth. If I see something is wrong with the door and I know I can probably push them a little, get a new door, but I genuinely feel bad for them.
I don't think that makes you a bad salesman. I think
Yeah.
that makes you a good person.
Yeah.
Paul.
But I know someone could sell it to them, and I feel like that's how other companies making it work. Because I'll try to help them out and say, hey, we'll come out tomorrow and bring these parts and repair the door for you. But then sometimes I'm thinking, man, these people can actually buy a new door, no problem.
Because they have a golden horse in front of their
Yes.
No. So, I mean, with sales, sometimes just because you can doesn't mean you should. If they just need a repair, then that's what you give them, right? So ultimately, you need to serve the customer. So going back to my question, out of those 25, how many of them actually need a new garage door that you sell them one?
I didn't run those metrics. I wouldn't be able to tell you.
But on average, you're selling one every 3, one every 4, one every 5.
Probably like 50% of people need new garage door, honestly.
Okay.
25 people, actually 12 can convert
Easy.
into
They have wooden door and it works, and I know it will continue working, but in reality, they should get insulated, nice door that'll last them for the next 30 years.
Right.
But somebody has to kind of push them over and be like, okay, let's do it right now. And I don't have that skill, I'll be honest.
So they could have an older door that needs a repair, but you could offer them a different product. It would make sense for them to get an upgrade, right?
For sure.
Not necessarily even focused on fixing their issue. It's just you can sell them something else. So then if you're selling 2 or 3 of those, so you're converting around 15-20%.
No, you said 12 out
so
of 25. So about
12 are eligible to purchase, and he sells 1 or 2.
Yeah.
12
yeah,
could potentially turn into.
So your conversion rate is 10-15%.
Yeah, that's just from Home Advisor.
So by buying 40 leads, you're getting 2 sales out of that, typically.
Yeah, about.
And then
And it's
40
what, 60,
times
that's
what, it was
60 bucks, you said? So
Not to say that a lot of times I come out and a lot of these leads I just do small repair.
it's
like
$2,400 that you spent with Home Advisor to get 2 sales.
yeah, at least I spend
So
more
each
than that.
customer's
Yeah.
costing you $1,200.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 sides to it, and from the way I see it is like you're building a book of business, but you're also building a book of goodwill. You're building a reputation. A few years ago, I was working in the Medicare industry, and I was a street agent, and I would help elderly people select their Medicare plan, whether they're aging into Medicare or they're just changing for the next year, or something happened that allowed them to choose a new plan mid-year. And it is so easy with these people to just sit there and push them in a certain direction because it benefits you and you get a higher commission. But at the end of the day, the way you win in Medicare is not on that sale. You win by trying to get more referrals than you have closes. So no matter how many people you close, if by definition you're getting more referrals than you just did business in that day, you're gonna have more work the next day. And so I would say it's critical that when you are in those situations that you just do the repair. You know you could get the replacement, you know you could push them past the finish line, but you just do the repair instead. You highlight that and you tell them, any other company bring out here, they're gonna tell you need a new door. I'm an honest guy, you don't. Here's what you need. But then at the end, you're like, hey, who else do you know that could benefit from this service? This is what I do. Give them a little magnet, give them something so they remember that interaction. And the other thing I would say is if they have kids, have some kind of teddy bear, something memorable. So you hand it to the kid and the kid has it and they take it like inside with them. And the impact that has both on the kid and on the parent is drastic. It's very big. And it keeps them like front and center in their mind. So whenever they hear a friend or when they see their friend on the Facebook group, right? Because they're all in the Facebook groups, they see somebody say, hey, who knows somebody who does garage repair? They're gonna be like, oh, Paul's my guy, right?
David, imagine building teddy bears, just manufacturing these special teddy bears that talk, dialed garage doors, dialed garage doors.
I wouldn't say
and kids will fall in love with them.
So it's funny that you bring that up. So what I was working in developing for homes is actually something very similar. I know a lady that makes handmade con teddy bears, and what I wanted to do is make those handmade and get a branded shirt for that teddy bear.
That's smart.
And you leave that when you sell, you leave that with a homeowner. And like a magnet or a card, people
Nobody cares about
they'll throw that away. They don't want to throw away a teddy bear, especially if you give them the story that this was handmade by somebody locally. You know, you're part of the community of maybe helping somebody out, providing somebody with a job, and they'll either keep it, they'll keep it to their grandkids, to their dog. It's still going to stay in their house with that brand. And so when something comes up, that's the next project that they need to do, it's going to be a reminder. So I actually love that idea. I think that's brilliant.
I do too.
Yeah.
How many kids do you see out on the site when you're talking to people? Do you see them at all?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. That's good for kids. I wonder if there's something better for like adults. I don't know if it's like a bottle of wine or like a butcher block cutting board or something that they'll remind you, remember, because a teddy bear for an adult, they're like, what am I gonna do? Or at the, here's something else. If they have an automatic like opener, what if you got a sticker, okay, and you peeled it off and you put it like right in front, not on the outside, but on the inside, okay, it's like right on their wall, and just be like, do you mind if I put this here? If you ever have another question, you won't lose my contact info, it's right here. So every time they open and close their door, they're going to see your name, maybe your face if you want to make it like that, but for sure just the brand.
So you give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up.
How about on the garage door opener, you put a face of yourself, and when they click and make it custom, where you squeak like.
Bro, these are good ideas. Write them all down.
No, but he does the magnets.
Yeah.
He does the magnets on the doors, on the garage doors.
Okay.
So you actually always see them.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty typical. So if you're doing HVAC or plumbing, whoever serviced it last will leave something there so you know who to call if something happens.
That makes sense.
Well, he serviced my doors, and he put 4 stickers on every single door.
There you
There's
go.
no way I can miss him.
Yeah.
I remember.
He was complaining about it a little.
Something else I would say, kind of like my contrarian perspective, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but my prediction is 3 to 5 years from now, the YouTube page for a business will be more important than their website. For me, when I'm trying to learn something and I have a problem to fix, I'm trying to change an air filter on a car, something's not working right with a piece of appliance or something at home, I'll look it up on YouTube or I'll look it up on TikTok.
But this is a local business.
It is a local business. It doesn't matter though, because if you look up whatever it is you need, YouTube will show his profile, if he has the content for it, above anybody else's. And all of a sudden now
he's show his.
That's how YouTube works. That's how the algorithm works.
Nationwide search.
I understand, but if he is a local door company, okay, and he has content, they're gonna show him
Really?
higher rank.
It'll be targeted ads.
Yeah.
So
Not even just as targeted ads, even just the organic posting.
Yeah.
I think because what people will do in the future and even now, right? If I see a business, I look at all their socials. I look at their Instagram. I look at their Facebook. I look at their YouTube. And somebody may look at your Google profile, but then they may check you out on YouTube and they'll see, is this guy legit or not? And they see that you have a lot of different videos made showing that you know what you're talking about. That could push them over the edge of wanting to do an outreach to you.
It's branding
There's-
too. So it's
No, it is. Yeah,
branding.
there's.
So just think about your website and how critical the website is to local business today. And I would say think of YouTube being as important, and I would argue it's going to become even more important because people are visual. You don't want to sit there and peruse a website and read every single little thing and go to the about. If you can go to a YouTube page and you see a few shorts, you see a quick intro from the owner and the founder, and they're like, dude, Paul, I see his face, I see his family, I see a few of the people he helped, done deal. And it takes 2 minutes to see that.
Yeah, it's,
You know,
it's actually good for SEO too. So when you search dialed on Google, so YouTube Shorts and YouTube will be on the first page.
That's what I was trying to say,
Yeah,
where it
so
comes up on YouTube.
It's not necessarily as a tool for lead gen, generating leads for you. It's just more of a trust factor and showing that, hey, he's out there, he's legit, the company's legit. They're gonna search for, they look up your business on Google and they see you have 5 stars. Something sketchy going on, you know.
Bro.
Too many stars. So, but they see some more content. They maybe it's true. Maybe he is that good. Maybe he is that pleasing that every single customer loves him.
again, it all comes down to trust. So whatever you can apply to contribute to the overall image of trust, it's going to help. I mean, Paul does social media pretty well, I think, right now with Instagram. Constantly see you posting new jobs, just constantly talking about it. Have you seen any business from that? Have you seen anybody, any referrals or any leads come from Instagram?
Yeah, I have. Definitely. One guy that converted, I ran Instagram ads. That was about half a year ago. I got a lead. I gave him a price. And then he called me later, like 4 months later, which was 2 months ago. Or like probably 1 month ago, actually. And he's like, hey, I've been watching your page. You guys do some good work. He's like, I'm ready to buy the door. So I guess he saw the ad, he got the price, and he kept watching our stories.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, I'm ready for the door. So that's like one of the examples.
What was the actual ad itself that you ran?
Just opener and the door going up and down. Just I tried to get all little details like automatic door lock and just the opener opening the door. So
What I did with Medicare, the most critical piece of marketing you could get wasn't even a review. It was getting them to take a picture and leave that picture with their review. So when you're done with the job, don't just ask for the review. Just be like, hey, whatever her name is, Barbara, you know, if you appreciate the service, the number one thing you could do to help me is if you could just leave me a review. Here, like they don't know how to do it. Here, let me show you how to do it. Take a picture, boom, like on their phone, you just leave the review. You say the things in the review that you want them to say. Because the way it works with Google is you want to have key terms in the review itself because that helps your profile. So if it just says 5-star, he did a great job, that's not as good as Paul did a fantastic job at helping me. I live in Damascus, Oregon, or I live in Battleground, Washington. And, you know,
That's true.
whatever the review is, you can go and look up on ChatGPT what are the most critical things to have in the review and make sure that you're helping them craft that and write the review with them, with the photo. And what you'll see is your ranking on the Google profiles is going to skyrocket wherever you're at.
And also, the impressions with the photo, they always outperform the
Absolutely.
non-photo.
Absolutely.
But speaking about reviews, I was at this massage spa in downtown, and after the massage, she did a pretty good job. Like nothing crazy, nothing super impressive, but you know, typically in these spas and massage places, you leave a tip. You know, 10 to 20%. Sometimes they ask for even more. So I pay the cost of the massage, and there's no field to leave a tip. I'm like, how do you guys want me to leave a tip? And she says, we actually don't do tips. But if you really like the service, all we ask is, here's the QR code, leave us a review. And well, now it's like you were about to give her $20 or $30 a tip, and now you're saving $20, and instead it's going to take you 2 minutes to leave a review. Just QR code, you scan that, it sends you right to the review page of your business. And I left a review right there because I was walking out, I scanned, I left a review, you know, and I'm sure the review count is just goes really crazy. And then they will reintroduce the tips. But while the first year of business, you want to do everything you can to please the customer, have the best reviews, have the best service.
Reputation.
Reputation. So, well, reputation, trust, and all that. So the first 2 years before you're building a rocket, and then you're going to go to the moon.
Well, reviews is pretty tricky because you don't want to force customer, you know, to leave a review. I used to even give them $50 off just to get a review. That's how I got a lot of reviews too. People would be more motivated to do it.
I don't think it's a good idea to give $50 off.
No, that's why I stopped.
Yeah.
I realized people are willing to do it either way.
Here's how to really encourage them to do it is when you do a walkthrough and you explain and you ask them, are you happy? Are you pleased with the service? Have you this? Some of the questions where they, it's a psychological thing where they say, yeah, it looks great. Do you like how quiet it is? And you kind of give them ideas on why you did a great job and how to leave a review. And you said, hey, the biggest thing for me, for my business as a small business owner, you know, is reviews. It boosts, you know, my business. So if you could leave me a review, here's a QR code, and you give them a card and you say something fancy on there. Say something like, your review helps my business. Boom.
Yeah.
And a QR code. And that's it. They're going to scan it, throw it away, but leave a review. And you'll get 20-30%. Typically, reviews on Google, most people that leave reviews, they want to complain on something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you battle that? Well, you encourage them to leave a good review. And because by itself, even on Amazon, it's only like 2% of people leave reviews. They only go to say, hey, something didn't work, the quality didn't pan out, or...
That's why they say with business, you make 10 people happy, they'll say nothing. You make 1% unhappy, and they're going to say something. And so it's going to balance out everybody who's had a positive experience with you. So with Homesy, we have a more automated process. We do have the sales rep ask for reviews and project managers ask for reviews after the job is done. But as soon as that contract hits our CRM, it triggers a text message that goes out to the client, you know, once it's completed, and say, hey, the best compliment you can give us is a review. So we give them the link, and they can immediately give us kind of their feedback and their response. And then you also have an option to, like, hey, something wasn't right, and they can give internal feedback. That way they're not going to do it online. And that's been working for us pretty well too.
What percentage of reviews are you getting?
I mean, we're doing probably 50 or so jobs a month, and maybe 20 of them are leaving reviews.
That's huge.
The other thing you can do, I'm not quite sure how it would work for Homesy, but for Paul, use the law of contrast. So ask for something not outrageous, but something that's a much bigger ask than the review. And then most of the time they say no, then ask for the review. They're a lot more comfortable with it. So you could be like, oh, by the way, like, your home is perfect. I wanted to shoot this promo video. I don't know if you'd be comfortable with it. Most people are like, I don't know. And it's like, well, I get it.
They say yes.
You know, yeah, well, then come
There
shoot
you
a
go.
promo.
I guess.
That's huge. Go and do like a little video and then put it on your social, which is good, right? But most people will say no, just be like, well, could you at least leave a review then? They're like, oh, sure, I'll do a review.
Or ask for a referral, and if they say, I don't know anybody, okay, at least...
That's good too.
Yeah.
That's really
No,
good.
but I like the promo idea. The promo video is like, hey, we're gonna record you in front of the garage. Just say a couple of words. They're like,
Testimonial.
some people will say,
They'll do it.
like a testimonial.
Yeah.
Never
And
thought
then,
about that.
and then you can use that testimonial in ad. You know, just you can build your ads.
It's social
that way.
proof. You know, social
Amazing.
proof. And if you're doing an ad, you want to show your face. You want to do a walkthrough. You want to show this is the before, this is the after. Yeah, it will help a lot. The other thing is if you start to build a stack of evidence.
Imagine Just sorry.
No.
But imagine if the neighbors know that person and they see the review from that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're gonna geotag, go after 98682 zip code and everybody. And imagine if it's a famous person.
Yeah, that'd be legit. Would you help me
See
shoot
you-
my first testimonial if they
Absolutely. I'll
Dang.
help you shoot it, bro.
Yeah.
No
I mean,
worry.
you could
As
even
is
keep it
what I do.
simple.
It's my business.
Yeah, you could even keep it simple. Just your Instagram page.
But so what I was saying is start building a stack of proof. And so when they go to your website or your YouTube page, because I'm saying it's going to be more important than the website, but still the website, have a wall of these testimonials, of these reviews, where they're scrolling, and all of a sudden, like if they stay within that section, they're scrolling through, it's infinite, bro. They can see 100 different pictures of beautiful garages that you did. Then you overwhelm them with proof that you are the guy for the job. You don't leave it to chance. You don't use no AI generated nothing. You can't fake Barbara with, a missing tooth smiling, like you can't fake that.
Yeah.
You can't fake that.
One more thing I would do. So with Homesy, one of our lead sources is door knocking, right? We'll go into neighborhoods that have distressed roofs, distressed paint, and offer them a free inspection, a free quote. If you're working on a garage door on the street, right? So even without having to scale to having teams of door knockers, what I would do is say, right before you start the job, go and knock all the neighbors. It's going to take you about 15 minutes. Be like, hey folks, just wanted to give you a heads up. I'm going to be working on the Smith's house here. We're going to be installing garage doors. So if it's a little noisy, if there's maybe a little bit of mess in the driveway for a little bit, I apologize for that. But we're getting them new garage doors. I did notice that your garage door is starting to look a little bit like it could maybe use either a tune-up or maybe you'd like to consider a new one. I'm going to be down here just the street, so I'd love to give you a quote after I'm done with this job. And if you go and talk to all the neighbors, and you do it every single time, it's going to take you 15 minutes, but they're going to see you work. They're going to know that their neighbor's a customer, and the amount of people that are going to say, yes, give me a quote, isn't going to be zero if you do that on every single job. It's about 10, 15 minutes of your time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just knock that street, and they can see you working right there.
What about the door hangers? You guys do any of those?
So we do. I think the callback on those is maybe 1-2%.
Because I just ordered like 3,000 of them.
Yeah.
I was gonna give them a shot.
I don't think they really work.
Yeah.
They don't.
We probably do a little over 1,000 a week. So it's actually less than 1-2% because we get like 1 or 2 calls a week.
And you don't convert it?
Yeah, they convert. They convert at the same rates as any other appointment. But you could leave a door hanger and say, just write a note. Hey, I'm working on your neighbor's house. I'd love to give you a quote. But just that proximity of them being there and them knowing who you're working with, and then it's not being time consuming to where you're doing the whole neighborhood, you're doing that street, that could work pretty well for you.
I see that happening a lot with my yard signs and
There you go.
Google business page. Showed up to this one neighbor, and neighbors were walking by. He's like, man, I want the same thing. I want to do the side mount opener. The third neighbor, so it's all like 3 houses in a row.
Wow.
And the third guy's like, I actually need a new door and a side mount opener.
Yeah.
It's like just one Google business page. That's it. One call from Google. I see that a lot from yard signs too.
Yeah, and if you're doing the yard sign, so you have your colors, your logo, right?
Yeah.
They're going to recognize it from the door hanger. So sometimes people need to see a message multiple times before
Yeah.
they consider it. So they're going to open their door,
Multi-touch.
they're going to see the door hanger, they're going to see your logo, they're like, whatever. They're walking their dog the next day, and they see the yard sign. They're like, oh, I just saw something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're going to look at it. What does this say? Right? And then they look at the neighbor's new garage door. They're like, oh, that looks so beautiful. Mine looks so simple and plain. I should probably call this number.
You have 5 months left this year. I think some of the action points that you need more technicians once you scale. But most important right now, you need a salesperson that is able to go out there and make quotes and convert potential customers into actual appointments. So that's number one thing. Next year, and you could already be looking for one, but you need a marketing person who can be sitting there and managing all these lead sources that you already have like 5. Instead of you doing that, a marketing person can do that. And I'm sure they're going to pay for themselves because they're going to be doing it better than you. You're always on site, you're always installing, you're talking to suppliers, you're always ordering materials. So you need a person potentially part-time in the beginning, but full-time is better because they can focus. You know, what I don't like about part-time is people will focus on two different things instead of one.
It's hard for a small business to just commit to someone full time, pay them like $4,000 or $5,000 salary.
They'll pay for themselves. 3-4 more customers they can get, they'll pay for themselves.
Yeah, where I would start is start tracking your metrics. Are you doing something to track how many appointments you're getting, how many leads, what your cost is, what your conversion rate is, your average ticket? Are you using some kind of a CRM to track that?
Nothing.
Okay.
From every source.
That's probably the
Yeah.
biggest
So
needle mover.
Angie's least, okay, that's one source. How many leads I've got? What's the price? What's the conversion? What's the customer acquisition cost? CAC. What's your CAC on every single lead source? You have to know it so you know what to improve. Because you might be overpaying. You might be overpaying $3,000 for a lead source that is not really bringing much.
Or he's breaking even on it, or even losing money.
Or you're
right?
losing money on it.
Yeah.
And then you're saying, "Oh, I cannot afford a marketing guy." Well, that's why.
So I would even start with a spreadsheet of just tracking every single appointment, where you got it, and then what happened to it, how did it convert, and then you can see, okay, so if I'm buying a home advisor lead, I spent this much, 70% I was able to go pitch it. Out of those 70% that I pitched, I was able to close X amount, and here's my average ticket, and here's how much money I made, right? So then when you look at a sales rep, and you can say my closing percentage is 50%. If I got a sales rep to close at 30%, then that whole equation changes, because now whatever revenue you would have had, you can double it, just simply because you have somebody who's going to convert at a higher rate. Or if you're looking at your landing pages, if they're converting from just lead to appointment at a higher than home advisor, maybe you're getting only 20, but you can actually talk to 18 people. Out of those 18, all of them are shoppers for a brand new system, not just repairs. So now you're running around town a lot less, and you're talking to more people, and you actually have more opportunities to sell. Because then you can actually look at those specific metrics and say, if I improve this metric by this amount, what would the end result be? But you can't even have that conversation. Like you can say, I can't afford a marketing guy. If you did the math and said, if I took my sales close percentage from 20% to 30%, what would that net result be? I would make $20,000 more. Is there money there to pay a sales guy out of those $20,000? Absolutely, right? So now all of a sudden that money makes sense. So just like you had the equation in your mind of, if my builder friend gives me X amount of business, I can go commit and buy a ton of tools for this amount of dollars because I know that this business is coming to me. It's going to have to be the same equation with choosing your lead sources, how much you're going to spend, and then using marketers or using sales reps. But before you do any of that, you have to understand what your numbers are.
Yeah, without data, you can't really optimize a business.
You can make decisions.
You can barely run a business,
Yeah.
but you can't optimize. You have to know your customer acquisition cost, your average ticket. Maybe the customers that are calling you from Google, 50% of them will need a new garage doors, and that's where you make most of your money.
Yeah.
And somewhere else, another lead source calls you, you come in, they don't really have intent to change or buy. It's a small repair, it's $120, but you wasted full day on 5 of those or 3 of those, versus one full day and install a new system where you make $1,000. So difference is massive. You just have to start tracking.
And then you start seeing like, oh, making repair calls altogether makes no sense whatsoever. Occasionally, maybe I'll get a sale out of it, but I just spent 5 days running around making repairs.
Yeah.
So your time is better spent elsewhere.
And you're gonna have another guy, your intern guy or a junior level installer doing those repairs. And that's it. So you basically make decisions optimizing your business, because we need to take you from 1 to 5 next year.
Yeah, I mean, everything, just to be honest, everything you guys said, I feel like I'm kind of already doing that. I just need to perfect it. I don't see anything out of this that would take me to 5 million next year. Like, I'm just trying to understand.
This is the steps you're gonna take, right? So you understand what your business is, your numbers are. Because if I ask you, what's your customer acquisition cost from Angie's List, you're not gonna know,
No.
right? So you need to know that.
You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems because you don't really have a system that tells you what the numbers are, it makes it difficult for you to be strategic in how to grow the business. And the other thing is, yeah, you have a business, but right now you're just self-employed. And what that means is like, you're not working on the business, you're working in the business. And you want to get to the point where you're not in the business day to day. You can remove yourself out because you grew yourself to that point. And now you're able to see what needs the most attention to accelerate that growth. And I think the reason you're saying, well, you don't see yourself at 5 million, you know, a year and a half from now, is because you're still thinking about yourself in the business and your time is limited. So you can never scale past 24 hours in a day. But if you had employees, if you had, you know, a position for marketing and a technician and a sales guy, and you started thinking about what ratio of positions you needed for everybody to fit under one roof, one business, then you probably could think about how you get to 5 million, right? So just take your entire operation now. It's you, it's a main technician, and you do all the marketing, you do all the sales. And just think, if you wanted to do 5 times as much, because you're on pace for 1 million this year, right? 5 times as much, you need 5 technicians. Maybe you would need 1 marketing person, maybe 2 sales guys, and you'd remove yourself out. Maybe you have somebody else for whatever position, you know, you'd need. But that's how you get to 5 mil, because you're no longer tied to your time invested in the business, and you're working on the business, not inside of it.
When you say I can't afford a marketing guy, well, how can I afford a marketing guy?
Yeah.
I need more sales. To have more sales, I need more salespeople. So I would start with 1 to 2 salespeople before you get a marketing guy. Or you're going to get a part-time marketing guy that can produce you enough leads so the sales people can close them. And then installers, I don't think it's going to be a problem for you, right?
Yeah, it's not the biggest.
So if you're asking me how do I get to 5 million in the Vancouver Portland metro area, I believe you can, because you're competing with the guys that are ripping off their customers.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are,
So
for sure.
the number you did
So
say,
opportunity is there.
you said you're 1/3. Was that pretty typical? Is that standard that you're 1/3 of the cost?
Even if you use 50%.
Yeah, at least.
Okay. So then your average ticket is how much?
Somewhere around 4 to 6.
Okay.
Depends
So
on us.
They're going to be 12. They're going to be 12 to 18.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Okay. So then let's think about it this way. With the existing leads that you have, and then I think we did the math, your closing percentage is around 10-15%, right?
Yes.
Professional sales guy in home improvement or in home services typically will sell about 30%. So if you had a sales guy doing all of your existing leads right now, he would sell twice as much. So instead of 15%, he would close at 30%. And his ticket would be, let's not triple it, let's double it, right? Let's still be a little bit cheaper than the competition. So that's 4 times more revenue with your existing lead source. So you could go from 1 million to 4 million with your existing leads, if those metrics hold true.
The only
And
caveat
bigger
I would
profit
throw,
margins.
Well, yeah.
Because he already spent.
Well, the margins are still the same. He just has all this additional net profit.
Right, but he's not increasing the spend. It's the same exact spend.
I'm talking same exact leads.
So your profit margin all of a sudden.
Same amount of opportunities.
Yeah.
So with the same amount of opportunities, he can sell twice as many for twice as much if it's executed properly.
So with garage door also, it's a little different versus like roofing or flooring, because you have your installer who is also a salesperson.
Right.
I might have talked to you about that also, but it's not, I can't have a dedicated person. So let's say I need to send out my installer to process all the leads basically. Somebody says, yeah, something's wrong with my door. Can you guys come out? He needs to be out there. He needs to repair and he has to sell it. And I see how other companies do it. They have an iPad with all the items in there. They just show everything on the spot. They see all the pricing, they select and they make a sale, which is kind of crazy. I was considering that,
Why
but
can't you have
Right.
a separate sales guy?
I could, but sometimes their cables got thrown, so you got to fix the cables and you got to look at the whole system and you have to understand what needs to be done. And the same person, you can't just send a repair
So he's a
person.
technician, maybe not an installer.
Yes,
Technician knows most of the stuff.
Yes.
and he's a sales.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you have an installer.
Yes.
Can you have that?
Yes, I can have that.
So
And then how's the competition doing it? They're having one guy, one man
Yes.
show for everything?
Yes. Yes.
So, okay. So then why is that an obstacle for you? Do you do the same thing?
You kind of need to have a whole infrastructure set up, with all your little. I talked to some garage door companies. They said, hey, I had a girl work for me for like 2 years. She entered like 20 or like 60,000 items into our system. I was like, that's insane. She was just entering item, like, as they grew, she was just entering item to their database. So when a technician came out and stood there in the garage with the iPad, anything they selected, there was a price next to it. The brand, the type of door, the little hinge, little spring, everything.
How do you do it?
Everything just happens. You talk to a person, I talk to them, and I say, okay, I'll come back and I'll let you know how much it's going to be.
So you don't have the ability to close the deal on the first visit right then and there?
Unless it's a spring replacement, it's pretty set price, because I just tell them this is how much it's going to be, if I have it on me, we'll replace it right there and then. If not, we'll come back the next day or later that same day.
Yeah.
What's your current capacity, right? Let's just say from 100% time allocated towards work a week, what percentage is spent working on deals that are closed versus sitting on your thumbs and trying to get jobs? What does that look like for you and your technician as a team?
So now that I have installer, I have a lot more time. That's why I'm thinking about, like, I'm spending
that's why he was on the Matchbox.
Yeah, I have way less time. I have to spend way less time out in the field, which helps.
Is his schedule completely full?
Most of the time, yeah.
Most of the time, okay.
Yeah. He can definitely handle more.
He could handle more?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he can probably double. I can double his load if I pay him a little more.
So you double his load. So what I would do is, if that's the case, then I wouldn't think about bringing on a marketing guy, sales guy, another technician, because you still have unused capacity with this other technician that you've got. So for now, I understand. But the biggest issue that I see is I understand the marketing game, and when you're going to get leads from the sources that you're getting them now, they'll generate intent on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok or whatever, and they'll sell it to 5-10 different people. Which is why, even though you're literally looking at the screen, as soon as it comes in, you make that phone call, they're already saying, I already got phone calls on this. I was hoping to get an automatic quote right there. It's a little bit of a deceitful marketing practice. If you want to grow that way, I think it's going to be pulling teeth, because there's going to be a lot of leads, but the more leads you buy, like, there's not this infinite supply of leads, and leads are going to get recycled. These people, these consumers, are going to see an ad and they're going to click on it. They're going to fill it out. They're not going to get the pricing they want. They're going to fill out the same lead a week later. And it's just this cesspool of nonsense. You're just wasting your time. I think the best thing you could probably do is figure out how to get higher converting leads with higher intent. And the number one way to do that as a local service-based business is to get more Google profiles. So right now, I imagine you have a profile set up probably in Vancouver, right? In Washington, okay? You only have one, correct?
Yes, I do. Well, it's service area. I don't have.
Think of it like a radar. The further out you get, okay, the lower your signal is. So if you're in Vancouver and somebody looks up garage door, you're probably going to be at the top of the list. Somebody in Damascus, Oregon, okay, or Happy Valley, where I live.
It's part of your service area, right?
It's in your service area, but somebody in Happy Valley, if there's another provider, even if they have 20 reviews, tier 120, you have 120 in Vancouver, but the guy that's 2-3 miles away from me has 10 or 20 reviews, he's probably going to pop up first because he's local. You need to figure out how to get other Google My Business profiles. Try and get 3 or 4 spread across the entire map.
Well, how would I do that with the same business name?
No problem. Change it as Dialed Garage Door Services Vancouver, Dialed Garage Door Services Damascus, Dialed Garage Door Services Hillsborough. Start in Vancouver. And maybe, just map it out. Look at where you're at. And then there's actually tools you can go and look up to see what the strength of your local SEO is. There's a whole practice to this. And you can also throw this into ChatGPT. And it'll spit out a lot of really good tips for you on how to actually go and accomplish this. The biggest issue you're going to run into is, how can you get another profile without a physical address? You can do a service area.
You can get a physical address,
but it's going to cost.
Talking to your buddies, and registering. So let's say they have an office,
Yeah.
and the office has a suite, and you just use that suite, or instead of 260, you put 261, suite 261, same exact address, and that's it.
Exactly.
Or you can go. I have friends in Portland, and I'm saying, hey, can I use your address to register this business? You might get some mail once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, but then you need to film it, and it has to be legit.
They
Do that. It's
verification.
worth it. It's worth it. Even, there's people that I follow that offer this as a service as an agency. And what they'll do is they'll find a place that's like the crappiest office you could think of. That's $500 a month. But if you can get that profile and you have that first video verification to make it past Google's AI, it is gold, because now you've basically opened up like a second location of leads coming to you. Most of the leads, you're probably not getting any calls from Wilsonville or Hillsborough. All of it's probably Vancouver. Maybe a couple from Portland.
Yeah.
But the strength of your signal, think of it as like a little beacon that's emitting the signal out to people. And when people are looking up garage door near me, you're popping up. You want your name and your business name to come up in as many areas that you want to service as possible and be at the highest. The further away from your actual Google business location address you go, the lower and weaker that signal becomes. So you need to think, how do I increase that signal? You could do it by more reviews, but again, Google My Business, it's a geography-based type of service. So you want to figure out how to get alternate locations and start funneling the different customers and clients you're closing in that area to that Google business profile. And those are the best leads. You'd probably agree that when they call you from Google business profile, it's much better than you trying to work these leads and call them.
For sure,
Night and day,
100%, yeah.
right? So the question is, how do you expand out to Battleground? How do you go and dominate Ridgefield? How do you go out east to Camas? Now, how do you go and do East Portland, Gresham, Happy Valley, Oregon City, Southeast, Northeast Portland? Like, think of it as like you're an army and you're starting to expand with different locations, and you want maybe 4 or 5 locations across the whole map, and get these strong enough to where your signal is broadcasted to the entire city. And if you
also
do that,
makes it look like you're a big.
you're everywhere. Exactly. They don't have to know it's just you and a technician. But that'll give you the lead flow. And now that you've got your guy that's working full time, you have the time to do this. Call all your friends. Put up a post on Instagram. Even pay somebody if you have to. Hey, look, the guy's not comfortable doing it. Hey, what if I write you, a $300 check, a $500 check? You're spending $2,400 to Home Advisor, and the leads are garbage. But you're going to get leads from this. This is the bread and butter of how you're growing your business right now. That's probably the easiest way to increase the quality of the leads that are coming to you for a local-based business.
I definitely want to focus these next few months on Google Business My Page like crazy.
I was gonna say that a sales guy. How complicated that are garage doors? They're not really complicated. Like a good salesperson should be able, spending a week with you on site, should be able to figure out typical problems with them, which doors need to be replaced. He sees that you have the center mounted, the ceiling mount versus side mount, easy sell, like, hey, would you guys want to upgrade? And this right now we have the sale, and the sales guy is gonna outdo you. He's gonna outperform you by miles.
I agree with that.
Because your mind is not set. As a salespeople, salespeople are smart. They know how to work with customers, how to sell. So I think, test it. How much does it cost? Find a good salesperson, educate them on basic systems, on basic issues, most issues, and just see them do their magic, and you'll see.
Yeah, I think if you got a commission-based salesperson, this person would go to all the leads. Since he is commission-based, he's incentivized to sell a project on that job, right? So if they possibly need it, if they want it, he's going to offer them a garage door replacement. If it's something that is just a repair, he can qualify that customer and then schedule that service call with your technician, maybe even take a payment up front. Now, when your technician goes to that job, he knows it's specifically for this repair.
Yeah,
and
he already has the part.
Yeah, and it's already a set job. It's already a set job. So you're going to use your commission salesperson to filter out all the customers. He's going to sell garage doors to everybody who needs one and wants one. And then everybody else, who's either a time waster, then nobody else goes out, it's just a sales rep. But he's commission only, so that doesn't cost you anything. And then if it's a service call, you can now have a route for your tech to just go around and do the repairs all day long. You'd have a schedule.
That sounds like a good plan, actually.
So
One more thing I'll throw out there, because I just thought of it, I don't want to lose it like Vlad, is you want to have a referral partner. What does that mean? When I was doing Medicare, I'd go to doctor's offices, I'd go to dental clinics. I'd be like, hey, do you have patients who are having issues staying in network with you because their Medicare plan is changing? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Send them to me. I'll make sure they stay in network with your clinic. I go to a dentist office. Do you have clients who can't pay for their stuff because they have no dental benefit and they can't afford to pay out of pocket? They're like, yeah, so many. Perfect. Send them to me. I'll put them on a plan that has dental. So that way your revenue increases, right? Think about like contractors are really good, but like think outside of the box. Think like exterior cleaning, okay? Maybe they see, a garage that is absolute trash and like, oh, dude, I'm going to give Paul, my boy, a referral here. I'll talk to him. By the way, I saw that your garage door kind of needs replacing. I have a really good guy. If
It's
be open to it.
squeaking.
Okay, exactly.
Not working
But
properly.
now you have a relationship with them, and now when you see a house that has really dirty windows, and you're like, dude, these guys could use some exterior cleaning. At the end, you're like, by the way, I have a very close friend of mine. He does exterior cleaning. I don't know if you'd be interested, but if you want, I can pass the information on. All of a sudden, now you have a symbiotic relationship. They're feeding you leads. You're feeding them leads.
It's called
you kind of
ping pong.
work off of each other.
Ping pong.
Ping pong.
Yeah, I came up with it.
Nice. I do that with a couple of my buddies who own some companies. So it's not, I wouldn't say I get a lot of leads like that because
It's not going to be your
It's
main
not as
career.
high
Yeah.
intent.
No.
Yeah.
It's going to be here and there, but
what's the most common reason somebody replaces a garage door?
they, I don't know, just old.
So they just want to upgrade.
Yeah.
Do you see it typically being done in conjunction to other projects in the home? Like maybe they're painting, they're doing their deck, or is it usually just a standalone project?
A lot of times it's a standalone project, actually.
Do you feel like there's a certain age or like life cycle for most garage doors? How long do they typically last, the ones you're replacing?
About maybe 20, 30 years.
So what if you did mailers, not the door hangers, but mailers, and you
Yeah.
did it only to houses that you knew were right at the 30-year
you
mark,
can buy that data.
and that data is available to you.
That-
Houses that are 15 to 30 years old.
Man, there's so many things I can do. That's like, so my idea was, I don't know, you guys can, I was thinking of shifting all my marketing budget to Google. Just hiring a company who can do advanced verification, whatever you were talking about, do that. Because if I dive into that, I'll get lost. I can figure it out, but it's going to take a lot of my time. I need to do all the quotes, invoicing, and
Right.
do all this stuff. So, and I was going to do that. And as soon as I see tons of leads coming in that I'm not able to handle, I was going to get a salesperson.
I mean, there's so many ways to skin this cat, right? Like if you start throwing the money at the marketing, so that way you close the leads, I think the number one goal, at least the way I think of it, is like you've got your current technician, it's suboptimal efficiency right now. They're not doing as much work as they could. So get them to be so busy that they can't take any more work. Now you're closing business and you take that overflow. And once you're building that overflow, you see the marketing is working. That's when I would hire the next technician who also is the salesperson. Okay? Because I understand like the other companies have their technicians or the service people and they're also the salespeople. You can break from that mold and just have a standalone salesperson, but why reinvent the wheel? You know they're doing that. They've been doing it for a long time. What it allows you to do is they can close the job and do the job. So it's like, it's not like you have a salesperson who's now reliant on the marketing and the technician who's relying on the sales guy who's relying on the marketing. You kind of double dip. If you need him to close, he can close. If you need him to go in service and do a job, he can do that. So it's a lot more agile in the way your business is structured. But the engine, the oil, the fuel that makes the entire machine to continue to just grow and move is the leads. You need more leads. You need more Google business profiles. And if you do that, then you have what everybody wants. You have the work, you have the jobs, okay? And that's where you can have anybody who's struggling, if they're a truck driver, they're a construction guy, and they don't know what to do, they need to make more money, all of a sudden, hey, come work for me, because you have so much capacity. That's the currency. That's the currency that gives you the most power in this business, is the leads, because they need the work done, and you're in control of who does it and for what price.
No, I think you have enough action points for the next 6 to 12
But
months.
CRM is number one, bro. Like, if you don't do the CRM at this level, like, I don't even know how you keep it straight. You know, you just wake up and your phone starts ringing and you're just running around, dude.
Yeah, I do everything in the notes.
It's time to legitimize the business. Go get a CRM. Go high level or get with Holmesy and see what they use. There's a lot of good options.
for sure.
But even today, you can start with a spreadsheet.
Number one, if you don't have that,
Spreadsheet,
then
multiple
Cheapest,
tabs,
easiest, fastest.
lead flow, lead source,
Yeah.
and then you calculate everything: customer acquisition cost, average ticket, and then you start noticing some interesting things. Oh wow, these leads from Google, average ticket is 2,800. So I've installed 8 doors. I did 2 repairs, but that's amazing. My profit is over 1,000 on each of them. So, and then I'm like, okay, let's put more money into here. So you make already, data and
You
based
start
on-
noticing trends and patterns, and it becomes pretty evident of what's working, what's not working. Yeah, I mean, with
I
business,
see yard signs are working like crazy. That's why I keep buying them.
double down on what works. But the thing
Double
is,
down.
can you say this is exactly what the ROI is, and filter by all the jobs you've ever done? Say this percentage came from yard signs, this percentage came from Google My Business.
Do you
referrals?
ask every customer where?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But do you have it written down? Is the thing.
I don't.
That's the problem, because you need the data. Because the data, you may think the garage sale or the garage signs are doing really good, or the yard signs or whatever they're called. But if you saw the data, maybe it's doing even better than you thought. And that's what you should do when you drop Google. But you need to know. So that spreadsheet, man.
you can't go by feel.
Yep.
Something might feel great, and it's actually the data
Today you
something
feel,
different.
tomorrow you don't feel.
When you're saying yard signs, is this the yard signs you're putting into your client's yard, or are you just placing them all over there?
Everywhere. Sometimes when we're done with the job, I ask client, can we leave a yard sign? They say, of course.
But the calls that are coming in, where are they seeing these yard signs?
I asked him, like, it's crazy. Last couple of weeks, I've been getting so many calls from La Center. I just threw a sign there past Battleground because I was going there to collect the deposit. I threw that sign. It probably generated me like 10 calls.
Just on the street.
Yeah, just
Wow.
on the main big road. Yeah.
And there's no rules or regulation of where you can put them or how many you can put.
They say they are, but so far I never got any ticket or not.
There you go.
So another thing is finding available lots that are for sale. Call the agent and ask them, hey, can I put my bigger banner instead of a small sign, a bigger banner, or find a homeowner that owns acreage and he doesn't care, but he's on the road. Say, hey, can I put a bigger, how do you call them?
Billboards.
Billboard, like a billboard type.
Yeah.
But again, don't be aggressive. Don't do 20 by 20 feet.
Hey, why not?
I see them like on stoplights from exits. When you're taking an exit, you're stopped there. Again, you need to know what's actually really working. Right now, you kind of have an idea of what's working. You don't know for a fact.
He knows what's working, but he doesn't have data to prove it.
Yeah.
And then once you have data, that's when you can make better decisions on scaling.
So what we're going to do is we're probably going to have you back 6 months, maybe 12.
And we're gonna ask you,
Said-
did you do your
yeah.
homework? Did you
You're
hire
gonna say,
the
no, I
sales-
don't even have a spreadsheet. I still do notes. But the business is 2 million now. And we're going to say, okay.
Yeah, I'm so curious to see where I'm going to be in 12
No,
months.
we're gonna actually, ChatGPT can actually summarize everything. We put the action points.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know exactly what to do, but tracking your business. You don't have tracking. Come on.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, so that's number one. At least you'll have a bigger picture. At least you'll have a spreadsheet where we sit down. We can even sit down together and say, okay, you're getting leads from these 5 points, 5 different sources. What are the numbers? What are the metrics? Okay, can we double down? Can we improve? Can we also data not just on marketing, but also on your installer? How many installs he did, this week? And then you start tracking, and you'll actually know if he's slacking or not. How many hours did it take him? Why this job took him 3 hours and this job took him 5, even though those jobs are very similar, and things like that. So optimize everything.
It'll also
I
show you
like that.
location, where your job's happening. So maybe if there's a area that you're getting lots of jobs, open up another Google location. Maybe put more yard signs there. So for that demographic, it's working.
It's
it's just
it's
so much
places like
information.
Woodland and La Center.
Yeah.
they're small. There's not a lot of businesses out there, so most are coming from Portland, Vancouver. How about you dominate that side of town?
But lots of golden nuggets, guys. If you got value, like, subscribe, comment, and share it with friends and family. Helps a lot. Appreciate it. Until
Thank you.
next time.